Welcome to Rugby Uncovered. I'm Paul Rodriguez, and together with Tom Nash, we're speaking to Ella Wyrwas from Loughborough Lightning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Ella, you have achieved an extraordinary amount in a very short space of time, but you're from Enfield.
I am indeed.
You went to Hartpury College. You went then to Saracens. We get a lot of girls asking how these things took place because they're interested, because they are in love with rugby. Can you tell us how this process worked?
Yeah, so I mean, I've played rugby literally since probably I was about 5 years old. I was keen on all sports as a kid, and actually my brother is probably the same with a lot of girls. My brother started playing when I was younger, so I begged my mum to take me along. Got involved with like a mixed team. It was actually Saracens Minis. So got involved with them and I was really lucky because I had a really supportive coach at that club who, me being one of two girls at the club, he like made massive special effort to kind of include the girls and make sure the boys weren't not passing to us because we were girls, and like really went out of his way to kind of develop us. So I think that plays a big role in the fact that I actually stuck it out and I'm still playing rugby now. So played all through age group rugby, and I played a lot of sports, and it was just the sport that kind of stuck with me the most and worked for me. So then I kind of made the decision between GCSEs and A-levels to go to Hartpury, just because I think at that point rugby was starting to take up a lot of my life and kind of become a priority. And I think when you're at a school that kind of doesn't understand that and probably doesn't know much about that, it's quite hard to balance the academics and the rugby. So Hartpury was really just the perfect place because they have a integrated rugby program there, and the whole purpose of it is that the kind of academic side and the rugby side are very intertwined, and they work with each other to support you with both. So yeah, that was a big decision for me at that age, but actually that's probably a lot of credit to where I am now. That just Hartpury and the professional environment that it was kind of just gave me that taste of the high elite level of sport, and I just kind of clung onto it from there. And because I'm originally from Enfield, came home to have a gap year, didn't really know what I wanted to do at university. Saracens was the club I was at Minis, so that was my local club and had a lot of links there, so joined there. And yeah, that was kind of the start of my Premiership rugby. Had a really good experience at Saracens. It was very different probably to where I am now at Loughborough, just because actually in the place I was in my life, taking a gap year and kind of that rugby being my main social circle, I was very integrated very quickly, whereas it probably took me a bit longer at Loughborough just because I'm at Nottingham University, so I'm not at Loughborough like a lot of the girls are. So it probably took me that bit longer to integrate properly. But yeah, Loughborough's the same in that it's a really professional environment and really, really enjoying it here.
Good. And that explains the correlation between being at Nottingham University and playing for Loughborough and leaving Saracens, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm at Loughborough now because chose to come to Nottingham University. My university kind of choices were all based around rugby as it is, just because to play at that highest possible level you need to be playing in a Premiership club. And for me at that time I was kind of transitioning between positions. I used to be a 13 and I was transitioning to 9, so it was really important to me that I found a club that not only had a place for me as 9, so that there was a chance that I was going to get game time, but also that had the right sort of coaching staff that could help develop me as a 9.
Mm-hmm. You, along with our previous guest Joe Yap and Holly Cunningham, went on the under-20s tour of Canada. Tell us about that. That must have been an extraordinary experience.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience to kind of to get that abroad tour as such, because that's something that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to do. it was 2 weeks. It was quite long, really, like for that to be in that professional environment, and like you kind of always feel like you're under a bit of pressure. So it does definitely take a bit of getting used to. But for me, it was perfect, because it did, as I said earlier, it kind of came at that time that I was transitioning between 13 and scrum half, and Jo Yap being a former scrum half herself, was the perfect experience for me, really, to get a really intense period of time training in that position, playing competitive rugby in that position, and just getting that insight from Jo Yap. So yeah, that I think that really helped me in my rugby journey.
What brought about the change of position for you?
It's funny, actually, because I was a 13 in my first year of under 20s, and then I retrialed again the next year as a 13 and kind of got into the program as a 13. And I had no idea it was coming, but at the first camp, I remember Jo Yap sat me down and said, "How would you feel about transitioning to scrum half?" Because I think Scott Beeman, the England backs coach, had basically identified that I'm probably not got much potential as 13, but might potentially have something at scrum half. And at the time, I remember I probably didn't respond that positively to it, because I'd had a fair amount of I wouldn't call it experience, but as like a younger minis rugby player, I had always played scrum half just because I was the smallest on the team. And at that level, I think my preconception of the position was just that you're passing the ball and that's it, and you don't get to do anything else with it. And I loved like the attacking side of rugby. So yeah, I probably didn't respond that positively to it, and it took me a while to kind of come to terms with it and be happy with it, because I also think at the time, just by chance, the 2 scrum halves that were selected in under 20s were injured. So I think I misread it a bit at the time and thought, oh, they just want me to be scrum half because the other players are injured and they need someone. But actually, I think they had identified that I probably have more potential in that position. And now, yeah, I've grown to love it, definitely. But yeah, it took me by surprise at the time.
Would you say that the provisional changes in the laws offers more fluidity, and there aren't the set aspects of the positions anymore? You can be more flexible.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the way the game is going is kind of, there's that emphasis on scrum halves really being an attacking threat, which maybe it wasn't so much before, but like the vast majority of kind of my game and what coaches try and implement is for that scrum half to be the primary threat. So around the breakdown, around the fringes, and just in open play for scrum halves to really actually have a chance at attacking. So yeah, at in the game that it is now, I think scrum halves play probably a larger role than they did before. But also just in that, I think the position I was before, I probably relied on other people kind of for the tactics side of things and the game management. So now me having a much more active role in the game management side of things, I think it brings a lot more fulfillment of the game for me, definitely.
Excellent. Lightning have had, I'd say, the perfect start to the season. You've had 3 wins out of 3, along with a couple of other teams. But yeah, I guess the standard now in this division is so high that there's no way your coaches are going to let you say, yeah, you've had the perfect start. You are being encouraged to improve all the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, as this season starting now is a completely different level to what it was before. I think before there were kind of maybe 3 tiers of teams, that you had those people in the top tier that were miles above the people in the middle tier, and then again who were miles above those in the bottom tier. But now I think you'd have a real trouble predicting the score of pretty much any game. Any 2 teams that come against each other, I think it's definitely a tough battle now, which really, it definitely changes the league and puts probably more pressure on the long ride of the season, because maybe before you'd had those games that you kind of can relax into, and I mean, it's a bit unprofessional to say that, but that probably come a bit easier than other games. But now the whole season, it's just definitely a consistent time to just keep improving.
Yeah, certainly the games have been very tight indeed. In fact, we're going to show a clip from your match against Gloucester Hartbury, which was 32-26. And you did pretty well, considering your background. You didn't show them any mercy, did you?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a free kick there, which is a bit of an insight into the new rules. And as I was kind of saying before, like there's a big emphasis on scrum halves at the moment to just be a real attacking threat, especially around the breakdown area. And yeah, from that, I think I'm just always looking for that half space to get through, to get my chance to attack. So yeah, that was kind of me there implementing that.
Yes.
This is just a little clip of excellence from Helena Rowland, really, that I was lucky enough to be on the back end of. Got the glory of that. But yeah, I think the vision and skill execution from Helena there really made that.
You're very modest. That was a fantastic run. You really seized that, and you were in the right place at the right time, which was the most important thing there.
Yeah, me trying to find that gap again probably didn't quite work out that time, but actually that's probably what you've got to do. I think maybe 50% of the time you're not going to get through, but I'm a trier, that's for sure.
Absolutely. It's pressure.
Yeah, it's a really tight game, this game. I think Gloucester really put us under loads of pressure with their defence. They came flying at us, so we kind of had to adapt to that and maybe change our style of attack a bit at half time. But yeah, a bit of forwards excellence there. I'd be happy you put that in. Yeah, and
excellent.
A cracking break from Dalika there. I'm not sure if you saw in that footage, but I'm actually celebrating about 20 metres back from there, so it would have been embarrassing for me if she didn't score that.
So absolutely brilliant. Now, Ella, you're becoming stars, and this is what this program is about. We want people to know about the personalities and the players and know where to follow them. So you're on social media. If people want to follow your progress, obviously they can go to Loughborough Lightning's website. But if they wanted to follow you, how would they do that?
Yeah, you can follow my Instagram any day. It's Ella Wyrwas. Not sure if you're gonna know how to spell that, but Wyrwas. Yeah, starting posting some rugby content on there now that rugby's back.
Fantastic.
I mean, I've been injured for a while actually. It's almost 2 years for me that I haven't played rugby. So now I'm looking forward to getting some more rugby content on there, definitely.
Wow, amazing. So some people have been dying for some rugby because of the lockdown and just can't wait to get out there, and you've been waiting 2 years for it, so it must have been amazing getting back on the pitch. You can just see that energy.
Yeah, definitely.
How is the knee, Ella? Is it now fully recovered?
Yes, it's good. It's recovered fully. I think I still probably have a lot to work on in regards to kind of keeping on top of that rehab and making sure it doesn't lapse a bit. But yeah, it's back in full force, which is really good. It's been a long time coming.
Well, it looks great from where we're sitting. You've done a fantastic job. Well done. Hope it continues. All the very best for the rest of the season. And we hope to speak to you again. We hope to speak to you again.
Yeah, love it.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks ever so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
And thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.